Why were two police officers waiting for me at Thanksgiving dinner? My phone rang at work. Some guy from a collections agency. We're calling about your outstanding balance of $6,000 on your credit card ending in 4829. I told him he had the wrong number. Is this the number for... And he read off my full name, birth date, and my parents' address. My hands went cold. I don't have that card, I said. He told me it was opened 6 months ago and hadn't been paid since. I hung up and pulled up my credit report right there in the break room. 4 more cards I'd never seen. All maxed out. All registered to my parents' house where my driver's license still said I lived. $23,000 in debt that wasn't mine. Someone had stolen my identity, and I had no idea who. When I still lived at home 8 months ago, I kept my social security card and birth certificate in my desk drawer. My parents had access. My younger sister, Vanessa, had access. She used to come into my room all the time to borrow clothes. Even some of my cousins stayed over sometimes. Anyone could have taken photos of my documents. I sat there staring at those credit card numbers, trying to figure out who would do this to me. I drove straight to my parents' house because I needed to tell them what happened. When I walked through the door, Vanessa was on the couch wearing a brand new leather jacket and expensive shoes that had to cost at least $800 together. Where'd you get the money for all that? I asked. She barely looked up from her phone. Freelance social media work. My parents were in the kitchen and Mom called out, Vanessa's doing so well with her little business. But Vanessa had 80 followers and posted maybe once a month. Something felt wrong. I pulled out my phone and walked over to Dad. Someone opened credit cards in my name, 5 of them, $23,000. Look, he glanced at my screen for maybe 3 seconds and handed it back. Are you sure you didn't sign up for something and forget? The way he said it made me feel like I was 5 years old. No, Dad, I didn't forget opening 5 credit cards. Mom came over and put her hand on my shoulder. Honey, maybe someone at your work got your information. That happens all the time. I looked over at Vanessa. She was sitting there completely silent, twisting a Cartier bracelet around her wrist. That bracelet had to cost thousands. Vanessa, do you know anything about this? I asked. She looked up at me with this blank expression. Why would I know anything about your credit cards? My parents both nodded like that settled it. I left without saying anything else. I drove straight to the police station and told them everything. The officer took my information and asked who had access to my documents. My parents and my sister had access when I lived there, I said. He nodded slowly. If we find evidence, you'll need to press charges, even against family. I looked him in the eye. I understand. 3 days later, Detective Murray called. We traced the IP addresses. Every application came from your parents' residence. We also pulled security footage from the stores. He paused. It's your sister in every video. My throat went tight. Everything suddenly made sense. The expensive clothes, the designer bracelet, the trips she'd been posting about. So it was her the whole time. He confirmed they had enough evidence to arrest her. When would you like us to proceed? I thought about it. Thanksgiving dinner. My whole family will be there. He paused. That's unusual. I didn't care anymore. That's what I wanted. He agreed. The next 5 days, I couldn't sleep. I kept imagining their faces when they realized I was right. Thanksgiving came, and I showed up like nothing was wrong. I sat at the table with my aunts, uncles, and cousins, acting completely normal. Vanessa sat across from me, wearing another brand new outfit and jewelry I'd never seen before. We were halfway through eating when someone knocked loudly on the front door. Dad got up and opened it. 2 police officers and Detective Murray walked in. He held up his badge. We're looking for Vanessa Carter. The entire room went silent, and everyone stopped eating. Vanessa stood up slowly. What's going on? Detective Murray stepped closer. Vanessa Carter, you're under arrest for identity theft and fraud. Her face went pale. What? No, this has to be some kind of mistake. I reached under my chair and grabbed the folder I'd brought with me. I stood up and threw it onto the middle of the table. Papers exploded everywhere. Credit card statements landed on the turkey and covered the mashed potatoes and scattered across everyone's plates. You stole my identity and destroyed my credit. My voice was louder than I expected. All so you could pretend to be rich. Vanessa stared at me with wide eyes. How could you do this to me? I looked right back at her. How could you do it to me? She spun around to our parents with tears streaming down her face. Mom, Dad, please, stop them. Mom looked at the statements scattered across the table and then at me. Her face crumpled and she started crying. Dad picked up one of the statements and just stared at it. The officer pulled out handcuffs and clipped them around Vanessa's wrists. Vanessa kept screaming that we're family. Mom reached for me, but I was already walking out the door.